Yes, what a lovely evening for an onsen. Time to go in. Whee! Now I'm in. Oh, and it's day. Hi, sir. How much for one onsen?
It's your first time, right?
How can you tell?
That'll be 500 yen, please.
Okay, here you go. Whee! Now I'm going in. Now I'm inside. Oh my god, they're naked. I have to be naked. So I was bullied in middle school for my weight. My bully's name was Ben, and it was 7th grade, and I was dealing with acne. I was a theater kid, and I was kind of a nerd, and I loved Neopets, and I loved Pokemon. I wasn't on any sports teams, and he played football. It wasn't exactly a formula for success. In gym class, I would go change in the corner, in the locker room, to avoid people seeing me. When I would go to the beach, I would wear a shirt, and I would say that it was because I was protecting myself from sunburn, but in reality, if I looked like the guys from Top Gun, I think I would have been fine just, taking my shirt off and putting on a little extra sunscreen. It was about that time that I started to travel with my dad. We would go to away Eagles games, and we went to Seattle and San Francisco and Dallas, Texas, and that's sort of where I dipped my toe for the first time into the world of travel. I would create Facebook notes about my experiences and really just dwell on the times that I was having. I'd visit these urban spaces, and I would see people struggling with poverty and with homelessness, and the more and more I saw real problems that people were dealing with, the less and less I started to care about my own physical insecurities. By then I graduated high school and I moved to New York City to study acting, and of course at that point I was just completely surrounded by people all the time from different walks of life, from different countries, different places in the world, and I wanted to go to them, but the problem is that I was very broke because I was a college student. By 2019 I had started to figure things out. I was ready to travel, so I booked a flight to San Juan, Puerto Rico. I didn't have my passport yet. I didn't have or need anything. I just wanted to get somewhere off the mainland, and I figured San Juan was as good a place as any to start. I was gonna do it on my own. I was ready to dive in, and I didn't want to wait for anybody else to do it. It was amazing. I ate so much food and saw so many sights. I was ready to book 100 more trips, see the world, and then
pull the mask out of the clip. Then pull the mask to your face, placing it over your...
On my return flight from San Juan, the turbulence was really bad. Still to this day, the worst I've ever experienced. People were praying, some people were screaming. It was hard not to imagine worst case scenario. We were fine, we landed, everyone was safe, but from that point on, I had a new roadblock, flight anxiety. Couple that with the coronavirus that would be upcoming in early 2020, and now my most recent flying experience for a while would be... By mid-2021, I was ready. COVID restrictions had mostly been lifted around the world, and people were largely starting to travel again. So I got my passport, and I took the plunge, and I booked 2 separate trips to Europe. I thought that after I took a couple long-haul flights overseas, like 7-8-hour flights on big planes, that I would be over my flight anxiety, right? Wrong. It got worse. If anything, it definitely got worse. It was almost as if the more I fell in love with traveling, the more anxious I started to feel about flying. But it was too late. I was hooked. The high that I felt while I was traveling was unlike anything that I had ever felt, especially when it was international travel. Figuring out metro systems, navigating a foreign language, understanding local customs, all of these things were addictive to me. And anytime I did something I had never done before, I would feel such a rush. The worse the anxiety got, the more that getting through a flight in the first place started to feel like a major victory. Not only was I getting hooked on travel experiences, but I was also getting hooked on looking my fear right in the face and saying From that point, it was on. I was ready to add a new layer into my travels, facing my fears. I wanted to fly more and more often, even though that meant dealing directly with my flight anxiety. And when I landed in that new place, I was determined to do something that scared me. First up was riding up a volcano on horseback in Guatemala, except that I had never once ridden a horse in my entire life and was very afraid that I was going to fall off. I didn't fall off, but I did make it to the top, and I cooked marshmallows over lava on an active volcano. I kayaked the Grand Canals in Venice without ever having kayaked a day in my life. In fact, I even lied to the tour operator because kayaking experience was required to do the excursion. I ate foie gras in Paris. I got a massage at a mud volcano in Colombia. I stood on the edge of the Grand Canyon. I danced with the band in New Orleans, and I braved the cold to see the northern lights in Iceland. But there was still one thing left to face. It's one thing to kayak in the Grand Canal. It's another thing entirely to strip down and reveal completely who you are to other people, both figuratively and in my case literally. I heard through my head all the insults that bend through my way in 7th grade as I made my way on a rainy day to an onsen in Kyoto, Japan. I walked into the dressing room and I slipped off one piece of clothing at a time until I was completely 100% butt naked, nude, without clothing, being seen by all. And you know what? No one cared. Not even a little. Not a glance, not a sideways look. This is a part of the culture. In fact, I did feel a little bit embarrassed, but I wasn't embarrassed because I was naked. I was embarrassed because I mistakenly assumed that these people would care about what I was doing or how I was spending my time. They were there to relax and enjoy the spa, not look at my body or at anybody else's for that matter. I left feeling a genuine shift. A deep part of my insecurities felt in some way conquered. I even went to a second onsen in Bangkok the following week and stayed for several hours, like most of the day. I'm telling you this story because it's the reason why I made this YouTube channel. I've only been traveling seriously for a couple years now, but I feel like I've changed substantially for the better with each and every trip. Choosing to do something that scares you can take so many different forms. But the moment I realized that everyone is so caught up in their own agenda that they don't have time to think about you at all anyway, it changed the way that I approached life. I still deal with flight anxiety, but that hasn't stopped me from flying hundreds of hours over the last couple of years, with many more booked in the coming months. I love to travel and I want to try all the greatest experiences and all the greatest food that the world has to offer. And I would love to bring you with me, not just figuratively through my videos, but literally as I do giveaways to my subscribers as we celebrate channel growth over time. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already so that you don't miss any of those opportunities. And it's genuinely my hope that when you do, you introduce yourself to me down in the comments. I want to get to know the people watching these videos. I want to know what scares you, what fears you faced, and where you're going next on your journey. Also, let me know what kinds of videos you want to see. And if you have any travel questions at all, let me know and I'll see if I can help you out. Most importantly, I want to build a community here. It's my dream to visit every country on planet Earth, and I'm just getting started. My name is Josh. I love you for watching. Now let's get lost. Oh, and if you want to get started by hearing about the time I had the best chicken wing on planet Earth, go ahead and click right here.